In the year 1507 BCE, deep in the heart of Egypt, a young girl was born into the ruling dynasty of the 18th dynasty, a family that would shape the history of one of the world's most powerful and enduring civilizations. Hatshepsut, whose name meant foremost of noble ladies, was not just any child, she was the daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I and Queen Ahmose. From the moment of her birth, the gods seemed to favor her, blessing her with intelligence, charm, and ambition. Little did anyone know, she would become one of Egypt's most powerful rulers, though the road to that power would be fraught with struggle and loss. As a child, Hatshepsut was groomed in the ways of the royal court. She had access to the best tutors, learning to read, write, and master the intricate religious and political protocols of the time. Her father, Thutmose I, was a revered military leader, and she often followed him as he inspected temples and held court with nobles. From a young age, she showed an unusual aptitude for leadership, her mind sharp and her understanding of statecraft far exceeding her brothers and half-brothers. But being a woman in a patriarchal society like Egypt meant that despite her capabilities, Hatshepsut's destiny, at least in the eyes of those around her, was to support the men in her family. She would grow to marry, to bear children, and to be a consort to a future king. Yet, the gods had other plans for her. When Hatshepsut was around 12 years old, her father passed away, leaving the throne to her half-brother, Thutmose II. To maintain the purity of the royal bloodline, it was customary for Egyptian royalty to marry within their family, and so Hatshepsut became the queen to her half-brother. Though her new role was one of great prestige, it was also marked by subordination. Thutmose II, a weaker ruler both in health and in intellect compared to his predecessor, relied heavily on his formidable wife. While he ruled in name, many believe it was Hatshepsut who pulled the strings behind the scenes, advising him on state matters and commanding respect from the court. Her marriage, however, was not marked by deep affection. Thutmose II was often ill, and their union produced only one child, a daughter named Nefer. With no male heir to solidify her position and after a reign of just a few short years, Thutmose II died, leaving a young and vulnerable kingdom behind. The throne, by birthright, passed to his infant son, Thutmose III, born to a secondary wife. The boy was too young to rule, and the kingdom needed stability. It was then that Hatshepsut made her first bold move. Hatshepsut was initially appointed as regent, ruling on behalf of the infant Thutmose III. But as the months passed, Hatshepsut realized that merely ruling in the name of the boy was not enough. Egypt needed a strong, decisive ruler. And so, against all convention, Hatshepsut declared herself Pharaoh of Egypt, a role traditionally reserved for men. To legitimize her reign, Hatshepsut took unprecedented steps. She adopted all the trappings of kingship, even wearing the ceremonial false beard and the headdress of the pharaohs. Statues and carvings depict her in the traditional male garb of the pharaoh, as she worked tirelessly to secure her position. She claimed divine right to rule, announcing that the god Amun had visited her mother in a dream and conceived her as a direct descendant of the gods. This bold assertion of power did not go unchallenged. The male-dominated court was shocked, and whispers of dissent could be heard throughout Egypt. How could a woman, a mere queen, assume the throne of the most powerful kingdom in the world? But Hatshepsut's determination and political savvy silenced many of her detractors. She surrounded herself with loyal advisors, including the brilliant architect Senenmut, who would design her most lasting monuments. Once securely in power, Hatshepsut's reign was marked by peace, prosperity, and cultural flourishing. In stark contrast to many of her predecessors, who were obsessed with military conquest, Hatshepsut focused on strengthening Egypt from within. She revitalized the economy, re-established important trade routes that had been neglected, and embarked on some of the most ambitious building projects the kingdom had ever seen. One of her most celebrated achievements was the expedition to the land of Punt, a mysterious region thought to be somewhere along the coast of the Red Sea or East Africa. This journey brought back wealth unimaginable: gold, ivory, ebony, and exotic animals. It was a triumphant display of Egypt's wealth and power, further legitimizing Hatshepsut's reign. Reliefs carved into the walls of her temple at Deir el-Bahri immortalized this expedition, showing Hatshepsut as the bringer of riches and prosperity to her people. But it wasn't just wealth she brought back. Hatshepsut initiated a grand building campaign, commissioning temples, obelisks, and monuments that still stand as some of Egypt's most impressive works of architecture. The Temple of Hatshepsut at Deir el-Bahri, nestled against the cliffs of the Valley of the Kings, is a testament to her vision and desire to leave a lasting legacy. Its beauty and grandeur remain unmatched, a symbol of her reign's golden age. Despite her focus on domestic achievements, Hatshepsut was not without military strength. She led successful campaigns in Nubia and the Levant, ensuring Egypt's borders remained secure. Yet, she did not glorify these victories as her male predecessors had. Instead, Her reign was marked by a focus on peace, prosperity, and the well-being of her people. The struggle for recognition and the fall from history. As the years of Hatshepsut's reign wore on, Thutmose III, now growing into adulthood, began to chafe under the shadow of his stepmother's rule. He had been relegated to a secondary position for much of his life, and though Hatshepsut shared power with him nominally, it was clear that she was the true ruler of Egypt. Tensions simmered beneath the surface, though Thutmose III never openly challenged her while she lived. But time is the ultimate ruler, and after 22 years on the throne, Hatshepsut's reign came to an end. The exact circumstances of her death remain a mystery to historians. Some speculate that she died of natural causes, perhaps succumbing to an illness that had plagued her later years. Others wonder if Thutmose III may have played a role in her demise, eager to finally take the throne for himself. What is known is that by 1458 BCE, the great Hatshepsut had passed into the afterlife, leaving behind a legacy that would be contested for millennia. After her death, Thutmose III ascended to full power and embarked on a campaign to systematically erase Hatshepsut's legacy. Her statues were torn down, her monuments defaced, and her name was chiseled out of royal records. For centuries, it was as though she had never existed. It was a brutal act of posthumous vengeance, designed to remove her from history and ensure that the memory of a woman ruling as pharaoh would fade into obscurity. But the sands of time are relentless. In the 19th century, archaeologists uncovered the shattered remnants of Hatshepsut's statues and inscriptions, piecing together the story of the queen who had defied tradition and ruled Egypt in her own right. Her magnificent temple at Deir el-Bahri, long buried under centuries of debris, was restored to its former glory, and her name was once again spoken with reverence. Today, Hatshepsut is recognized as one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs, a woman who refused to be confined by the limitations of her gender and who ruled with strength, wisdom, and vision. Her reign brought peace and prosperity to Egypt, and her architectural achievements remain among the most admired in the world. Though history tried to erase her, Hatshepsut's legacy has been reclaimed, her story a testament to resilience, ambition, and the enduring power of a determined woman. The tale of Hatshepsut is one of triumph and tragedy, of power seized and power lost, and of a queen who dared to defy the gods and meant to shape her own destiny. Egypt's history is richer for having had her, and though her reign was cut short, her impact resonates through the ages. If you're fascinated by powerful leaders and ancient mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Let's embark on the annals of history together, one story at a time. Until next time.